This is going to be my first video for the channel. It's going to be my What If series, where we take popular games and challenges from different games and we think about it as what if the players could actually give much more input to how to actually design different levels, do different puzzles, and to even talk about what if the story went in this direction instead, or what if they focused more on this type of level design as opposed to what the developers are showing us. And the first thing we're going to talk about is Anthem. So Anthem has a wide array of problems right now when it comes to the shortcomings for the initial development, as well as what happened when each accidental bug happened during each patch, where the developers fixed the issue that they found when it was the main reason why a lot of people had issues playing the game, because they didn't feel like their time was being rewarded for how much they were actually investing. And it would be interesting if they tried to do more themed armor sets. Like you could do Beastmaster armor sets where you have the Interceptor be more like the Grabbits, like a dark Grabbit, where it's kind of orange and black streaks with long ears even. You could have the Colossus be the rhinoceros seeming animals in the Anthem universe. You could have the Storm look similar to the lightning quill creatures that always roam around and shoot you while you're flying around. Or you could also have the Ranger have brute themed armor, so you could use that. Or you could look at different elements specifically to tie to different javelins. Like Colossus could be earth, for example, and you would see the scales start to actually come off of the armor and kind of twirling around, kind of like the elements did in the last Airbender series. So that way you could see a lot of different customization and versatility in the aesthetic portion of the game, which a lot of people are really clamoring for. The main issue is loot. The real thing that's kind of strange to me is why these people being devs, why don't they just take the solutions they found to fix the problems that came up when they did these patches and just reverse what they found? I feel like if they just did that as a temporary solution until they actually found what in the coding is making these issues, it would go a long way. So we'll see where they go with that, but I'm not holding my breath for it. In the game itself, I've spent about 500 hours playing the game, and I know that's a lot. And everybody I tell that to, they have no idea how, because they're constantly crashing. And so am I, but it doesn't take as long, it seems, for me to come back into the game, or the sessions are actually restored properly how they're supposed to be. There's still weapons and items that I don't have at all for each of my classes, except for the Ranger. I have everything for that. But legendaries are very few and far between, and about 95% of my masterworks I shard, unless I don't have a version of it. So we're just feeding into the crafting system in this game, which is also a huge problem, because you constantly get rewarded for crafting when it comes to strongholds, when it comes to Elysian caches, when it comes to getting crafting material from the different resources you can farm in the world, all the time. for doing just anything in the game whatsoever. Killing different enemies. If you kill certain little dungeons, they'll actually give you resources as its reward, which is just terrible because the crafting is a wasted mechanic altogether. What they should try to do is try to make it a more charity-based system, where if you consistently try to craft stuff and you consistently try to put in the hours to put all that effort into the crafting system, you have a 10% chance that whatever you're crafting, that it will actually not craft the level that you're crafting, and it will craft one scale up. So if you're crafting Masterworks, you'll have a 10% chance every time you craft a Masterwork for it to actually give you a legendary. I don't think legendaries should have the same power scaling as Masterworks. I think legendaries should not have a single power below 40%. If that isn't there, there's nothing that separates the legendaries from the Masterworks, especially when the guns don't really make your gear score affect that much different. I will talk more on these things in depth in individual videos, and I'll talk to you later.